We have the person who is maybe responsible, she can tell us, for changing the food pyramid. That is a flex. Like over cocktails at dinner to be like, I changed the mother food pyramid. Tell us about this.
Okay. First of all, it's a collective effort, right? These dietary guideline changes, which are tremendous, is a collective effort.
Okay.
Now, I've been teaching about protein for the last, how long have we known each other?
Yeah,
Forever.
ever since we met you.
With women specifically too, I feel like.
So I've been studying it for over 20 years and then really talking about it over the last 10. Now you have to understand this information is informed by some of the world leading protein experts. And there's probably, I don't know, a handful of them, maybe 4. One of them happens to have been and is my mentor, Dr. Donald Layman. So as the committee was coming together, there was 9 individuals on the committee. They had individuals for protein, for fat, for processed foods. I worked very hard to be able to help visibility and positioning for Dr. Donald Layman. And he is on the guidelines and he wrote the protein section of the dietary guidelines with his colleague.
So wait, so what was the pyramid to start with and how have you changed it?
It was like all upside down. It was like all sorts of breads and grains and carbs and like meat was like a very small portion at the top.
So what did you do?
Well, educated about protein and then was able to position some of these world-class scientists, specifically Don Layman, to be able to be involved. Because here's the thing, and I think that you can appreciate this, with the velocity of social media, information spreads so fast. Doesn't matter if it's right, doesn't matter if it's wrong. For example, Dr. Atkins, you've heard about the Atkins diet. Dr. Atkins spent a career, 40 years of a career, to be able to push through to the mainstream. Okay, 40 years. Now, someone could go on TikTok and in 3 days, if they have millions of followers, that now becomes the new fad. And there's very little differentiation between truth and fiction. Why do I say that? Because there are career scientists and most of the career scientists shy away from social media. They are doing the work. They don't have a bridge to be able to get their science out there. And that's part of the challenge. So I would say one of my primary roles was educating, but also being able to close the gap between career scientists and those that are involved in spreading the message and those involved in being able to get it out there.
Can you tell by looking at someone if they're getting enough protein?
You may. Again, this is not science, but some of the things when I think about someone who isn't getting enough protein, and you both have seen this, maybe their hair is really brittle. Their skin isn't very bright. Maybe it's dry. Sometimes you might see vitamin B deficiencies. You see it around their mouth, this kind of periorbital dermatitis. And probably over time, sarcopenia, decrease in muscle mass.
How much protein should women get every single day, and why is it so important to get that protein every day?
Women should not get less than 100 grams of protein a day. Below that, you are at risk. You are at risk for being able to, number one, age optimally, but also what about recovery and repair? And that is the bare minimum. And frankly, we've now been able to change that in the conversation.
What does that look like to you, 100 grams, when someone comes to you and they feel overwhelmed? If someone's listening, what is 100 grams like quick?
Easy.
Okay.
Let's break it out into, how about 2 meals a day?
Okay.
2 meals a day. First meal, we'll call it a meal. Busy mom, running around crazy, have a protein shake and maybe 2 eggs. A 25 to 50 gram protein shake, you're set. That first meal, now you're 50% there.
So 2 eggs is, just so I'm clear,
So
12 grams. And then 50 grams of protein is 2 scoops. And you like whey, I'm assuming.
Whey.
Okay.
Yes, if someone doesn't want whey, there's other options, these rice pea blends. Again, it's all about the amino acids. But if someone is going to want to set their body up for metabolic success and also decrease their hunger, the first meal I would argue is the most important. That first meal of the day, and it doesn't have to be at 8 a.m., but that first meal, and maybe it's a 25 gram protein shake, and then an extra little added protein. Maybe it's a Greek yogurt too.
Before lifting or after
Doesn't
lifting?
matter.
Wait, I just have a question. Before coffee or after coffee?
Well, coffee always comes first. I mean, we can agree on that.
I'm just wondering if maybe you have to have it before. And then let's finish with what the other meal is, because you only gave one meal.
First off, I don't care when someone has coffee. Personally, I need a caffeine IV to get ready. I mean, the joke is I can drink enough caffeine to kill a draft horse. Not funny, but true.
Okay.
The issue about protein and training, it doesn't really matter as long as you're getting it in. I know that there's a lot of conversation around that, but if we were to look at the science, it's really that protein in a 24-hour period, whether you want to have protein before you train or you want to have it after, as long as you're getting it in, this is most ideal.
Okay, and what's the other meal that you're having that's going to give you the 50 grams?
If you don't eat a lot, that last meal before you go into an overnight fast, before you go to bed, is critical. Because think about it. When you're sleeping, hopefully you're not eating. And your body is in this catabolic state. It's breaking down. That last meal before you go to bed is arguably almost just as important. So I would say the first meal and then that last meal, and really getting that between 30 and 50 grams of protein is what you want to be targeting. And that could be steak. Maybe it's a 5-ounce steak. Maybe it's a bigger piece of salmon or some kind of protein. The way I like to think about it, and this is exactly why I wrote that playbook, just so you know, how do we take the science and make it very applicable? If you think about a plate, 1/3 should be high quality protein.
Okay.
1/3 of that plate should be fruits and vegetables. And then 1/3 of that plate can be starchy carbs if you're training. Super easy.
Yeah, I think like it's funny because we joke on the podcast, like I grew up training and doing weight training, and it's like, as a guy in the gym trying to build muscle, you learn about these things really early. Like if you're hungry and you're going to grab stuff to crash and like kind of have that junk, if you eat a bunch of protein or drink a protein shake before, you don't want the junky stuff after because you get satiated. We've talked about it on the podcast. So I think people, if they're not eating enough protein, you reach for those starchy things or those sugars or those bad foods, where in the reverse, if you're getting a bunch of protein, you actually don't want those things, which is why when we go to dinner, you're always like, why don't you want the dessert or this or that? I was like, well, I already just had a shitload of protein. Like my body just doesn't want that stuff.
What you just talked about is the protein leverage hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
And the protein leverage hypothesis is this idea that we dilute our calories by eating a bunch of carbohydrates and processed foods, in essence, to try to get that protein need met. Dietary protein and protein is the most essential macronutrient. You need more of it as you age. You cannot make it. You must get it from the diet. You have to get that piece right. Otherwise, your body has somewhat of an inherent knowing. I'm sure you've heard people say, oh, I'm just craving a steak, or I'm just craving, fill it in. Your body requires those essential amino acids for a number of things, not just muscle, but think about gut health. Your body requires threonine, which is an essential amino acid for mucin production for the gut. But if we focus on the needs of muscle and you hit the targets of muscle, everything else falls into place. And when you think about satiety, which is what you were saying, GLP-1s are a hot topic. Dietary protein at around 30 grams generates a hormone release, a gut peptide hormone release. For the last 50 years, the conversation has been all about obesity. Mm-hmm. The obesity epidemic, this obesity crisis, it's been all about what we have to lose, never about skeletal muscle as an organ system, about what we have to gain. It is an organ system, just like the heart is part of the cardiovascular system. Skeletal muscle, beyond aesthetics, beyond mobility and strength and all these other aspects, it is our focal component for health and wellness and for aging well. We have to have healthy skeletal muscle. Yep. And if we reprioritize the conversation based on something we have to gain versus something we have to lose, we can very proactively begin to solve these conversations and these problems. Mm-hmm. And then one last thing on that, what about our children? 1/3 of children are either pre-diabetic or diabetic. That's 1/3 of our children. I'd much rather, it's horrendous. I'd much rather teach them to have good standards now than try to break old behaviors later on.
I'm a big organ meat fan. What is your feelings on that?
Very nutrient dense.
I think it's such a beauty hack that people have not tapped into. I swear it's grown my hair. I used to have extensions, short, blonde, fried hair. It's grown my hair. I think it's helped with my skin, my energy. I ate organs while I was pregnant. I love them, but people tend to be like, I think it's intense. But what is your opinion?
Organ meats are amazing. You know, in the US, we typically just eat muscle meat. And I hate to say these things. I don't want to gross anyone out, but
Gross us out.
I am so sorry. Skeletal muscle is one form of protein, but organ meats that are high in all the fat soluble vitamins and iron, it's like the ultimate multivitamin.
My friend Jessica is making me a heart for Valentine's Day.
A heart of what?
What kind of animal?
I think it's a heart. I want to say deer or elk.
Elk,
but
probably.
she's bringing me a heart, like, and we're gonna eat hearts together.
Michael's like, I'm totally not going to be.
No, she's gonna make you eat one. I
office
think
at
she's
that
gonna make you
time.
eat one. Just so you know.
I mean, if like my brain immediately with all this stuff, it just goes to like all the things that we're consistently trying to supplement for, all these supplements we're buying off the shelves to try to get these things. Nature provides all of these things in these forms, right? I think we've largely gotten away. I mean, if you would have gone to someone 200 years ago and told them, "Hey, you're eating," like they would look at you strangely if you were like, "I throw that away" or "I don't eat that." Right? That's a lot.
Absolutely.
A lot of cultures would hunt and look specifically for those organs because they knew what the benefits were.
Is there an organ that you like the best, or is it not
The
matter?
liver.
The liver.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite too. The liver.
Heart's a little. I got to think about the heart.
No, she's gonna make you.
I'll eat it probably. but-
CoQ10. It has.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have great nutrients, but the liver, again, it has all of those fat soluble vitamins. In our practice, so I still see patients.
Mhm.
In our practice, if we see a woman that has low iron, one of the things that we recommend for her is eating liver.
But only once a week, right?
Yeah.
Let
Okay,
me ask
because
you
you don't want to
this.
eat too much.
That's right.
Switching to your practice a little bit because you still do see patients. What is a common denominator you're seeing with most new patients that not existing patients, but new patients that come to you and say, okay, I want to figure my life out. What are the things you're seeing?
Well, from a medical perspective, definitely body composition. With the increased use of GLP-1s, we are now able to treat obesity, but we're swapping the obesity epidemic for an epidemic of sarcopenia. It's really two sides to the same coin. And then when people come off these GLP-1s, they are now smaller, they put the weight back on, and they've lost more muscle. Obesity to sarcopenia, for sure. And that is definitely something that we see. And really focusing on treating skeletal muscle, being able to rebuild their body composition is huge. I mean, we see a whole bunch of other things, but as I begin to think about what is probably one of the things that we're seeing with the biggest shift, and it's with the use of GLP-1s.
What about deficiencies? What are most people deficient in when they first come to see you?
Women, typically iron. We see a lot of iron deficiency, and iron deficiency isn't just diet. For example, if someone has a parasite, one of the most common causes of anemia worldwide is hookworm.
Ugh.
Or some kind of helminth infection.
Is anyone, in your opinion, using GLP-1 strategically? Because we've heard so many different things on this show. Is there a way to use it in a way that makes sense?
We use it all the time in clinical practice.
Okay, and what do you recommend if someone wants to use it?
Well, it depends on what they need, meaning, are we treating someone for type 2 diabetes or obesity, or are there various other off-label uses? For example, perhaps this individual has inflammation or even this. How about this? We were talking about this before. When I was in residency, I was probably 35 pounds heavier than I am now. I showed Lauren a picture. It's unrecognizable. And I'm a very small person, maybe 110 pounds. And at the time, I was using food to really self-medicate. I was up for 24 hours. I'm on call. I'm eating the graham crackers at the nursing station. I couldn't regulate my intake. I was so stressed. And again, the criteria for the use of GLP-1s, everyone has their opinion. There's the clinical, the guidelines of how overweight someone would be, or the use of with type 2 diabetes. But what about the person that is maybe 10 to 35 pounds overweight and wouldn't necessarily count as suffering from obesity? Should they be allowed to use it? And had I had access to it then, it probably would have changed the trajectory of the next 3 years.
How do you mitigate that?
You train.
You train. So you're telling people, if let's say there's a client that you have, you can use a GLP-1, but you have to train and eat protein.
You have to get the lifestyle composition stuff right. If that is not right, you're going to circle the drain, realistically.
Fast forward for someone that gets into later years and has sarcopenia. Like what ends up happening to those people?
Sarcopenia, we've seen what that looks like. To frame it up for the viewer or the listener, it's kind of that more frail person. You've seen perhaps your grandparents all of a sudden get thinner and smaller and almost disappear. That's what I think about when I see sarcopenia.
That's when you hear those stories of, an elderly person falling, breaking their hip and then dying and then
yes,
never recover.
That's exactly right.
They don't have the muscle to protect them.
Yes. The primary way to prevent against that is training, is really resistance training. There's no way around it. People will say, well, I walk and isn't that great? Yes, it's great. Pilates, is it great? Yes. However, I think if we know that there is this aging phenomenon, skeletal muscle changes, that tissue changes, the best way to build it and maintain it is to add in resistance training. There's a million different ways to get it right, but there's only one way to get it wrong.
We were traveling the other day and I slipped when I got out of the shower, embarrassingly enough. And
it's not funny. I'm not trying to laugh.
No, but
it's out of control.
I slipped. And
like living with a geriatric. I've fallen and I can't get up.
I slipped and fell. It was if somebody would have seen me in this position, it would have been humiliating. Never, we would never see me in this position. But I landed and I thought to myself, I'm like, this is what happens to people. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have muscle to protect, you break a bone, you can't get up, you can't catch yourself, or you take a fall that you just can't recover. I think that's a common story. And it sounds like, oh, that wouldn't happen to me. But we all know of elderly people that fall and die, go into a coma, whatever. And I think like that, after having that, I'm like, oh shit, this is, it can happen easier than you think.
And you guys are fit and young. Mm-hmm. We're using GLP-1s now, which by the way, I'm in full support. But what does the data show in terms of weight loss? People can lose 14%, 24% their body weight.
Wow.
It's not all fat.
Yeah.
You accelerate the loss of muscle. And GLP-1s, I think we're going to find that they're actually good for muscle, because part of muscle we're talking about, it's not just how much, but it's also the health and the quality of that tissue. GLP-1s, I think, help improve the quality when combined with resistance training. There's something called IMAT. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's intermuscular adipose tissue. Now, if you think back to the steak, it's like a filet versus a Wagyu. You want your muscle to look like a filet rather than a Wagyu steak. And I think that this is really part of what drives metabolic disease, insulin resistance, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, that we're not looking at. We're not actually looking at the quality of the muscle tissue. And I think that GLP-1s are going to show and prove to support muscle health in that way by reducing that fat in the muscle. Now, this acceleration of aging, I think, is really important, because the listener or viewer is probably thinking, well, GLP-1s, this is so amazing. And I would say yes. However, because it allows for such significant weight loss, if you do not protect muscle, then you might not have to be geriatric to fall and break a hip.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It can happen. I do believe that we are at the precipice of a different kind of epidemic that we've never been before, because we've never had access to these medications in the same way.
You are so right about this. I'm starting to see it in young women who are using GLP-1s and not lifting weights and using protein. It's a different epidemic. It's like everyone got so thin, but then they're not putting on the muscle.
Well, imagine if you've never been taught about proper protein intake, and then you've definitely never been taught about weightlifting and putting on muscle, and then you get access to these tools and you drop all this weight. That's really it's a really hard deficit to come back from, because all of a sudden you've lost all of this weight, all this muscle, you don't understand protein intake, and then you also don't know how to weight lift. Like the deck is now stacked against you.
And then what about bone density? And this is where I think that we're really in for trouble. Low bone mass, one of the indicators, perhaps meaning how could you identify it early, is low muscle mass. And if we accelerate the loss of muscle and we decrease our high quality protein intake, and perhaps these people are not training, we are going to see an increase in osteoporosis and osteopenia that we have never seen before. Again, we are now entering a new landscape. And that's why I'm really happy about this new food guide pyramid is, and people have all sorts of opinions about it.
Oh, yeah.
But you cannot argue that whole, high quality foods are important. And here's who it affects. The food guide pyramid, here's who it affects, or these dietary guidelines. It affects any institution that receives federal funding.
Because they were receiving funding for a faulty food pyramid.
Right. Military, schools, nursing homes. Their decisions are informed by the dietary guidelines.
Wow.
No more meatless Monday, friends.
Yeah, you wonder, I mean, again, like we have school-age children and the schools are great, like, you know, and they're trying really hard, but you go into the cafeteria and you see what's being provided to the kids.
I've never seen anything like it. I honestly
and again,
cannot believe it.
I'm just making a commentary on the things that we've learned to feed our children ourselves over years of doing this show and taking care of ourselves. Like I look at that food that's in that school cafeteria, I'm like, there's no way my child can eat that stuff. Like there's no way I would feed them that stuff in my own home. But to your point, the schools are being funded in that way, and that's the kind of food that they can then provide from that funding.
And they have to comply.
Mm-hmm.
With this shift in the dietary guidelines, again, we have to build stronger, more resilient humans. And that starts with ourselves, but it really our children. And with these new changes, it reprioritizes health as opposed to thinking about just preventing deficiencies. And what becomes even more critical, when we're young, we're shaped by our environment, by what we think. I don't want my son to spend 40 years trying to unlearn poor eating behaviors because that's what he was exposed to. This is a real opportunity.
I mean, think how crazy it is. Back in the day, you go to the hospital for some sickness or illness and they would give you like a huge thing of Jell-O.
It's still
Do they
happening.
still
Still do
do that?
that.
So it's
Yeah, but
still
that's crazy
happening.
if you think
It
about
is.
it. It's like, let me give you a giant gelatin sugar bomb while you're fighting some sickness.
Don't
or
even get me
disease.
started
That
on
should
that.
only happen on spring break.
But that's like,
I want my Jell-O in a shot.
but it's crazy if you think about it. I mean, I remember going and I'd visit like my grandparents in the hospital as they got older, and they'd be like whipped cream with Jell-O, and I'm like, yeah, as a kid you're excited, but when you think about it now, it's like, I can't believe that's the things that you're feeding to people when they're ill.
Are you raw dogging?
What's
What?
that?
It says right here that you're doing device-free walks. That the new name for that
I don't think you
is,
understand.
have you guys not seen Paul Saladino's raw dogging? Raw dogging is
hold
when
on,
Hilarious.
hold on.
I
We have
kind of
to-
thought we have
Wait.
to redefine these
Okay,
terms.
no, raw dogging has been redefined by Paul Saladino. He talks
I
about
don't know
it.
if you could just redefine raw dogging.
It's all over the
I'm with
internet.
Michael.
Yeah.
You sit without any devices and you just sit. And you sit in nature and you take it
There
in.
was a trend where these guys would get on a flight and be like, I'm raw dogging the flight. Again, you're saying that out loud.
Definitely not parents. I mean,
What does
'cause,
raw dogging mean again?
Raw
Real?
dogging means like you're going in without any protection. In a
yeah,
sexual
you know what I mean.
connotation.
Like wink, wink.
Uh,
It's changed now. The name's changed.
Yeah, but they're now saying like in this context, raw dogging a flight is like you sit there, no book, no music, no materials.
That sounds like a dream
and
to
you
me.
just,
It's like
you just sit
meditating.
there.
I just signed me up. I'm ready to go
So
on an
that's
airplane.
why it says on
Yeah.
my notes that you love device-free walks. That's raw dogging your walk.
Okay.
Do a post
Let
on this.
me-
It's going to go viral. So you should say, I'm raw dogging. Are you? Hi, I'm Dr.
You know
Gabrielle Lyon.
your
And I
wife
raw
is a
dog.
genius.
Yeah, you can,
Yeah.
it will, the
Um,
content will get attention.
Here's the reality. We are always looking for comfort. We have a culture defined on seeking more comfort
Yep.
as opposed to seeking more friction.
Mm.
When we seek friction, why does this even matter? Is I do think that we have to become a bit tougher. How do we do that? You have to practice it.
The raw dog.
You have to raw dog. I cannot believe I'm saying that. Yes, if my mom listens to this, she can die. But we create more friction through our environment and our behaviors. How can you do that? Raw dogging would be a way for many people to create friction. And I put this where this came from is this playbook, the Forever Strong Playbook, shows you ways and highlights ways to actually make your life harder, not easier.
Like what?
raw dogging,
Okay.
having conversation with someone that you don't want to have and that's difficult,
Woo.
deciding that you, instead of having any kind of packaged food, just you pick it, you create something where, let's say you can't use the microwave or anything else. You have to prepare. Again, that's kind of like a whatever one. But
What
how
about
about
this morning getting in a freezing cold plunge when it was
Yes.
freezing out?
Yes,
That was uncomfortable.
that's another one. Flipping a coin. I see you like coffee. Flipping a coin. Heads, you get to go into that coffee store and actually buy the coffee. Tails, you don't.
Okay.
Training without music.
I love training without music.
You do. Well, you do have kids. I mean, I understand.
Oh, it's kind of meditative.
No,
But-
you would not like lifting with Lauren. She puts on like
Bossa Nova.
bossa nova, and then we have to go deadlift. And I'm like, this is just.
I don't
very-
want to listen to like shove it up the ass music.
I don't know what kind of music you're
It's
listening to.
Raw dog and shove it up. Yeah, this is a lot
No,
here now, Lauren.
there's sometimes the gym has like intense music that's so gnarly.
It is.
I'm trying to get my cortisol down while I lift.
Let me share with you how one way that my husband creates friction. And I cover this in the playbook. There's emotional friction, there's mental friction, there's physical friction. We have to invite these things in. Yes, a cold shower. Yes, a ice plunge. Yes to all the physical. Now here's another level.
Okay.
We live in Texas, and Texas storms are something else.
Yep, they're crazy.
Right? And 4 a.m, my husband is making so much noise. He's waking me up. He's waking the kids up. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, honey, I got to get ready to go to work. I'm like, sweetie, you don't wake up for another hour. What are you doing? He said, well, I committed to myself. I run to work every day.
Oh God.
And I said, that's great, but it's like a monsoon outside. He said, well, what kind of man would I be if I only committed to my standards when it was easy?
Hold on, but I have a couple questions for your husband. Why does the whole house have to wake up with this monsoon run?
I agree with you because
Because he's up.
He's a monsoon.
We need to
He's
know
a
that
bull in a
we
china
need
shop.
people to know that we're up.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I know
don't
you're-
understand that. I don't understand that. However, what he was doing, I thought was amazing. The reason he had to go so early is because he had to wrap the gear in waterproof stuff, know that he has enough time to change and have it showered and have it all together. So he had to go there an extra hour early. To me, this is friction
Yep.
and annoying. And again, what does this do? It creates capacity.
It's making the commitment, even though, like, but especially when it's not easy. It's like, what's
Especially when it's not easy. And when we start to learn how to do that, it's the same as going to the gym. It's just a different kind of workout.
So the theory is when you just sit in silence and you do nothing and just look at nature, that's creating friction, correct?
For some people.
For some
the
people.
point? I had a former business
I know. I'm
partner
like, that sounds.
I know.
that-
I'm like, sign me up for that
I
flight.
was younger in my career, and we were working on something, and like anything that anyone, like anything you do that's worth doing, it's hard. It's not easy, right? And I remember I complained to her, and I said, "Oh my God, this is so hard." And she looked at me. She's like, "Yeah, of course it's hard. Like, what are you whining about? Like, why do you expect
Good.
to get these great results without it being hard?" And I think, to your point, we live in a time when we think that comfort should be the default, right? And whenever we get out of that comfort zone, we're like, well, something's wrong.
Mhm.
I actually like tend to disagree and say, like, if you're comfortable, that's when things might be a little bit wrong.
Your theory is to do the hard thing. It will increase your strength, capacity, and resilience. So you want us to pick the hard thing.
If you do the hard thing now, life will be easier.
How do you apply that to your own life? Give us tactical tips.
Okay. I set standards for myself.
Okay.
I set training standards, nutrition standards, time standards with my family and with my friends and within my profession. Meaning it doesn't matter if I've been working, I don't know, 3 weeks straight. If I set a standard for what I'm going to execute on, I do it. I don't go based on my feelings. For example, it's been a very busy season with this book, and I have 2 kids. I purposefully don't have full-time childcare. And I also have a man-child who's in surgical residency. He's in his 3rd year of surgical residency in a second career. I still keep up my commitments to training. It's 4 days a week, no matter what. Doesn't matter if I was up because Shane is kicking me in the morning because it's 4 a.m. or our son is still sleeping with us. Doesn't matter. I'm still executing on these standards that I set for myself. And also nutrition standards and picking at least one extra hard thing to do a day. Doesn't matter.
Like, give me an example of a hard thing.
Like I said, it's been a very busy season. I don't want to spend an extra hour at night reading data and research. I want to just chill and watch Landman. But I don't. I finish what I need to do. It would be so much easier. It's extra reading. I committed to extra reading. I don't have to do that. I just want to go to bed instead of stay up till 1 and then wake up at 6.
This is why they say life is choices, though.
Yeah.
Because doing the hard thing ends up making your life easier. It's so interesting, isn't it? The easy choice at first makes your life harder in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a super easy example. We talk about personal finance on this podcast. It's much easier to max out your credit cards and not save anything and get instant gratification than it is to be disciplined, live a little bit less than you'd like to, and set the money aside for a rainy day. But it's easier to spend the money and to not save.
And I think that you guys could probably relate to this, is when you live a life that you're constantly creating hard things, then you have to become creative at pushing yourself. Comfort kills, and you have to always be cultivating that capacity in some way or another. One of the things that I have seen within my own practice with other patients and also my friends is they're always pushing, and that becomes the normal.
Yeah, it's a default.
It's a default to always push. And you have to really ask yourself, am I really challenging myself? Because you become good at doing hard things.
It's also hard to sometimes when you like to push to understand that maybe other people don't like to push. That's been hard for me to understand that, like, I can't control how hard other people want to push. I can just be a good example as best I can. And if you know, friends or family want to push that hard, it's up to them. It's not up to me projecting my opinion onto them. That's been difficult for me.
I don't know.
I'm sure you can relate.
If you've seen this there's an article that came out that I'm apologize to the writer because I can't remember who wrote it, but it's going crazy on X right now, but it's like 41 million views. And the article's about how to change your life in a day. And it's a really long article. People can probably search it and find it because it's being received very well. But one of the things in the article is that it's talking about goals for the year, and it says, well, the problem is like the speaker or the author or the bodybuilder or the CEO, they don't like set a goal and then have to amp themselves up to get there. Yeah. They become that person ahead of time, and they do things that an individual that would be in that position would do regularly. Like, meaning like they don't just like sprint towards losing 30 pounds and then stop and go back. It's like they change their whole way of life and just choose like that's the new default state for them, right? Like, that might mean they're getting up early. That might mean they're training 4 days a week. That might mean they're reading extra at night, but it like becomes who you are. It's not like something you move in and out of. In order to make these changes and achieve these kind of goals that we want and we tell ourselves we want, you literally have to change your default state and become somebody who just does those things.
It is a good point. And in order to do that, you have to be really discerning. Right now, we live in a world of distraction, and it's very easy to become distracted. Distracted by our own thoughts that don't matter, distracted by the phone that beeps, you name it, distraction is everywhere. The people that become really successful, and I don't mean just monetarily successful, I would say even health-wise, those that are able to manage their discernment.
It's the most important thing to be able to manage your attention.
Yeah.
And where your attention goes. It's almost probably, you're right. And nowadays, because it's so distracting and it's so loud, if you can manage your attention and put it on the right things, that is a big hack to becoming successful. And it's hard. You know what helps me? Bite-size amounts. So I used to think if I wanted to write a book, I had to sit down for 7 hours a day and write a book. What I've realized, and you could tell us, is to write a book, it's actually 45 minutes a day every day. And you show up, and it's kind of like training. It's like reps. And you just keep showing up even when you don't want to, and 45 minutes doesn't feel as overwhelming as 7 hours. The bite-sized bits add up.
Consistency.
Is that how you approach this, or were you someone who sat down and did it all at once?
It depends on what was happening.
Yeah.
But I was very structured.
Yeah.
And I need more than 45 minutes for me personally because for the first 45 minutes, I'm bitching and complaining in my mind about sitting down to write the book. You know, before I have to go train on Monday, by Sunday night, I'm bitching and complaining about it. But I expect that. I'm very well prepared for my own human weakness. I tend to work in chunks, typically between 1 to 3 hour chunks.
Okay. So that's how you approach the book? You would work from 1 to 3 hours a day?
Well, this book was the book I originally wanted to write. And as you guys know, pretty much that first book has to be what the publishers want or your main message. But I wrote the playbook because people need a tactical field manual.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there thinking,
they want the details from you.
Yeah. And also I was thinking, why are there so many health and wellness books? It's either health and wellness books over here and then mindset books over here. But the reality is you have to get the mind piece right to be able to take the next right step. There's a gap between interest, being interested, and then taking action.
All right. As women, we're often told to listen to our bodies, but too often we're left without the information to actually understand them. Knowing what's going on inside your body matters, especially when reassurance alone isn't enough. So enter HERS. I have told you guys about HERS, but if you're unfamiliar, HERS is rethinking the outdated healthcare system to finally give women what they deserve. Care that's convenient, supportive, and built around their real needs. Everything is backed by experts in women's health. And additionally, you get diet and lifestyle guidance to help you move towards your goals. You can also receive personalized treatment plans for weight loss, heart health, menopause, and more. This is a new level of clarity that gives you data-backed confidence to make the right health moves. So feeling like yourself again doesn't feel so far away. If you want clearer insight into your health, go to forhers.com and schedule your labs today. That's forhers.com. Forhers.com. That's forhers.com. Every single night, I wrap up in my cashmere gray dream of a blanket. It is by Cozy Earth. You have seen it on my Instagram story. It is magical. I got hooked on Cozy Earth because of this cashmere blanket. And so I went to their site and I started just stocking everything. They have a bamboo pajama set that is the most lightweight, cozy, effortless set that just makes you sleep so nicely. I am very much about wearing something very comfortable when I sleep, and this keeps your temperature just right without overheating. I really also think this is a great gift. The other day I had to buy a new mama gift and I got her the bamboo pajama set and it was amazing. She is loving it. I feel like it's just really cozy, and this is a good one to get if you're looking for something for Valentine's Day. So those are my picks off Cozy Earth. You have to try their cashmere blanket though if you're looking for the best blanket. I have it on my bed. My dogs love it. My kids love it. You can't go wrong. While you're on the site, just check out their soft pajamas. Make sure they're the bamboo ones, the plush blankets, and the luxurious sheets. It gives you a little indulgence to everyday life, so you can just slow down with your Kindle or your book in bed and enjoy. Share a little extra love this February and wrap yourself or someone you care about in comfort that truly feels special. Head to CozyEarth.com and use our code SKINNY for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Celebrate everyday love with comfort that makes the little moments count. CozyEarth.com.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. February's here, Valentine's is upon us, and here's the thing. Sometimes it can feel like everyone else has it all together in their love's life, whether married, dating, or single, but the truth is, most of us are all just still figuring it out. I know I am constantly just figuring it out, don't tell my wife, Lauren. But no matter where you are in your romantic journey, therapy can help you find your way. I think this is so important as we get older, as we start taking dating more seriously, as we're in intimate relationships and serious relationships. Therapy can help everyone be the best version of themselves and set them up to also have great relationships. We've had so many high performers come on this podcast to talk about all the tools they use in their toolbox to live a happy, healthy life. And one of those tools is therapy. It's popped up so many times with so many different people on this podcast. And over a decade of doing this, I have seen such a correlation with high performers and therapy. This is why Lauren and I are so excited to continue talking about BetterHelp. They've been a longtime partner of this show, and here's why. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the United States. What I love about BetterHelp is you can do this right from the comfort of your own home, your office, on whatever digital device you may have. And here's the thing, long gone are the days of driving across town, sitting in an awkward waiting room, and then waiting for a therapist. BetterHelp gets rid of all of that and does the initial matching work so that you can focus on the therapy goals that are right for you. Don't just take it from me. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 6 million people globally, and it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5. So check it out, sign up, and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/skinny. That's betterhelp.com/skinny.
I found the most beautiful vests. I'm like really into a vest right now. I found a navy one and an olive green one on The RealReal. And this should not surprise you because it really is the go-to place for your next special piece. If you're looking for a dress for a wedding, or the ideal vacation sandals, or you just want to invest in a really nice bag and you want to add something to your collection, The RealReal has you covered. They have pieces from all the brands we love. Gucci, Fendi, Prada, Tiffany & Co., Cartier. I am a big Row girl, so I got some really gorgeous vintage Row pieces on there. You cannot go wrong. I also love to stock all their Laurel pieces. And what I like about this site is, unlike other resale sites, everything on The RealReal is authenticated. And it's authenticated in person by luxury and fashion experts. So you know what you're buying. Anyway, I'm obsessed with the Row, and I feel like this is a great place to find all the vintage pieces. I love scouring The RealReal for new pieces. They also add like 10,000 new arrivals every day. I know they do their daily drops at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. EST, so I have set my alarm. You should also know that I sell my own clothes on The RealReal, so definitely check them out if you are a shopper like me. The RealReal is the most trusted name in authentic luxury resale. With over 10,000 new arrivals daily, no one does resale like The RealReal. And now, get $25 off your first purchase when you go to therealreal.com/skinny. That's therealreal.com/skinny to get $25 off. Start shopping now at therealreal.com/skinny. What are some red flags of people that you work with that you see need a shift, and what are the shifts that you recommend?
It's very hard to teach someone if their mind is already made up.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
If they come to me and they sit down and they say, I am sick, I'm never going to get better, I'm always going to have this chronic fatigue, X, Y, and Z, they've already made up their mind.
Yeah. So do you try to go back at that, or do you just say, you know what, you've made up your mind and this is the narrative?
I will stop at nothing to get them better.
So you say, like, let's change your mindset.
Maybe not directly. Yes, I will. But typically the most effective changes come from something internal. And rather than telling them to do it, how do I help lead them into a reorientation to a different belief system? Because typically it's just habit. What we're thinking, it's just habit. We don't reevaluate those thoughts in a moment, but you can.
Speaking of hard things, this is going to get the men and maybe some of the women's attention. Erectile dysfunction, low muscle quality.
Yeah.
You've talked about it.
Wait, so people can't get a boner if they don't have muscle?
40% of men by the age of 40 have erectile dysfunction. 40%.
Wow.
50% of men by the age 50 have erectile dysfunction.
So they're on Viagra?
No, maybe, but
She's saying that you will have erectile dysfunction by that.
50% of men by the time they hit 50 have erectile dysfunction.
Wow.
And you're saying that's linked to low muscle quality.
I was senior author on a paper. I don't know if you know this, but I still do research. I see patients, but I'm still actively involved in doing research. And this is a shout out to my colleagues at Baylor. By the way, Dr. Mohed Kara coined the term sex span. Should definitely have him on.
Sex span.
And he helped write the testosterone guidelines. This guy is a G.
So sex span meaning like, I don't want to go, how long you're able to continue to.
Yes.
Okay. But
your health of your.
I would love to talk to him.
He's extraordinary.
That'd be interesting.
Been on my podcast, by the way. Anyway, we published a paper that relates healthy muscle mass and strength to better erections. Stronger you are, the more jacked you are, the better your erection.
The penis does feel better when you're pumping iron.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. But
like when it feels like a stronger appendage.
It's a stronger, well, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming like the body's connected, and if you have more muscle and better blood flow and you're in better shape, then why would that not make sense?
That's exactly right. But what is so important about this paper is that it actually connects skeletal muscle as an organ system.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now in the literature, it's primarily power, strength, athleticism, and then pathology, sarcopenia. But in order to really move the needle and focusing on muscle-centric medicine, then we have to begin to build a body of literature that shows how muscle mass is related to various health outcomes.
Well,
I now know why Khalil wanted to lift weights. He wanted to deal.
No, but it's why
he wanted to make his penis feel bigger.
It's why
There's
when
a
you
shout out.
see
Khalil, we love you. Literally, we're talking about you before
people
the
with
show.
good muscle mass or composition, you tend to see people with tighter skin to their faces, clearer skin. Go into a gym and look at people that are carrying a lot of muscle mass, you two women included. Our friend Sandy, like these women have tight skin to their faces.
Better blood flow.
Yeah. So
Why?
it's connected.
It is all connected, and 40% of your body is muscle. I mean, Sandy might have 50 because she's so fit.
She's jacked.
But if 40% of our body is this organ system, then we have to begin to take very seriously how we care for it and what its role is for other things. Like you said, tighter skin. Why do you use muscle? It's the only organ system we have voluntary control over. 100% voluntary control.
Do you think everyone who's listening should get a DEXA scan so they know where they're at?
I do. Now, DEXA has its limitations.
Okay.
Basically, DEXA is how we've traditionally looked at body composition, muscle mass, bone density. But where DEXA is great is bone, but it extrapolates, meaning it puts together all the rest of the lean tissue, organs, muscle, everything else. It doesn't give you a direct measure of muscle. We haven't been testing directly skeletal muscle mass quality.
How do you test that?
Hopefully we'll have more access to it, but typically MRI, CT, we don't recommend. You can use ultrasound, but this is a major gap in the way forward, which I believe it's going to start to close, because it's not just how much muscle you have. It's also, what does that muscle look like? What is the quality of that muscle? And I really had an aha moment. You know, if you think about the landscape of science, in science and pretty much everything related to humans, we talk about something, we believe it, and then we build upon that. For the longest time, people focus on body fat percentage. Body fat percentage, if you're 30% body fat, these are going to be the health outcome problems. And I had a woman, her name is Dr. Melanie Cree. She's an MD, PhD. She is one of the world leading experts on PCOS, the number one cause of female infertility. And I said, Melanie, tell me, what is the percent body fat that really pushes towards infertility? And she looked at me kind of like I was an idiot. And she says, it has nothing to do with body fat percentage. It has everything to do with the percentage of fat in their muscle.
Does that have anything to do with why people who are on GLP-1s, I've heard, are getting pregnant quicker?
Possibly, yes.
Huh.
And why do I bring this up? Because you said DEXA. And I said, well, I'm at intermuscular adipose tissue. How are we testing for that? And she goes, well, it's really difficult to do at a population level, because right now what we have access to is DEXA for most people. But there are some imaging companies that are going to start to use MRI. And I will say one more side note on this. The simple act of doing physical activity improves your muscle health. Whether your body fat percentage changes or not, your muscle gets healthier and it reduces this intermuscular adipose tissue, which, if we believe her hypothesis, this is what's driving, in part, insulin resistance, the metabolic component of PCOS, cardiovascular disease, because skeletal muscle is so central for our metabolic health. If it's unhealthy, then we see, diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease. These are not diseases primarily of obesity. They're diseases of skeletal muscle first.
What supplement stack and aminos should people be on? I'm a big amino person.
Me too.
I love aminos.
So I do too. If you are trying to get your protein intake, but you are eating lower calories, or you just don't have a big appetite, I recommend essential amino acids with a lower protein meal. For example, you asked me, okay, well, what does 50 grams of protein look like for you? Today, believe it or not, I went to the gym before I came here.
Nice.
I always train from 7 to 8, but I need to be home by 7:30. So I went to the gym from 7 to 7:30. Cut it a half an hour short, but I will tell you, my trainer, it doesn't matter. He makes me get it in. It's like a side of throw up. It was rough this morning. But I didn't have as much as I wanted for breakfast. So I added in essential amino acids to bring up that meal.
Do you do powder, supplement?
I do.
What's
So
your
I
powder?
When we
use-
travel, we bring a lot of aminos with us.
Yeah. And I use Body Health aminos. I'll use anywhere from 1 to 3 scoops in a protein shake or with yogurt. I love Greek yogurt.
Okay.
And that bumps up your meal because it's really those essential amino acids that you need.
Quick break to talk about Just Thrive. Lauren and I love this company so much. We've had the founders of Just Thrive on this podcast multiple times, and that's because we love a company that has great products, that is doing good in the world and putting things out that are helping people take care of themselves. If you're one of those people that have accepted bloat, cravings, and the post-meal crash after eating as your new normal, I'm challenging you to feel better, and I'm giving you the cheat code, the Just Thrive Gut Essentials Bundle. It pairs 2 clinically proven gut superstars, the Just Thrive Probiotic, which we've talked about for years, and their new digestive bitter, which just came out. Just Thrive Probiotic is the only probiotic clinically proven to arrive 100% alive in your gut for a difference you'll actually feel. We're talking less bloat, better energy, and even clear skin. Lauren and I have been taking Just Thrive Probiotics and their digestive bitter for a long time now, and we swear by it. The digestive bitter packs 12 science-backed herbs in one tasteless capsule that jumpstarts your digestion and supports GLP-1 production naturally so cravings don't control you. Together, they'll transform the health of your gut so you can feel like your best self fast. There's even a 100% money-back guarantee, so you've got nothing to lose. For over a decade, Just Thrive has been helping thousands of people take control of their health with science-backed solutions you can trust. From their award-winning probiotic to their full line of gut, immune, and brain health supplements, Just Thrive is ready to help you live your healthiest life. Take the Just Thrive Feel Better Challenge today and save 20% on your first Gut Essentials bundle. Visit justthrivehealth.com/skinny and save 20% off with promo code SKINNY. See the difference for yourself or get a full product refund, no questions asked. That's justthrivehealth.com/skinny. Be the best you with Just Thrive. Let's take a quick break to talk about Haya. Everyone's talking about their New Year's resolutions, but here's the one change that could impact your family for decades to come: your kids' health. Lauren and I put such an emphasis on this podcast and on this show talking about supplements that adults can take, how we can live our best life, what we should be using, what we should not be using. One thing that we don't talk nearly enough about, but that we think a lot about now that we're parents, is our children's health and what they should be taking. This is why Lauren and I have partnered with Haya Health for a long time now, because we love their vitamins. We give them to our kids every single morning. They ask for them, they look forward to them, and it's become a family routine where we all get to take our vitamins and supplements together. Some children's vitamins on the marketplace today contain up to 7 grams of sugar per serving and are stuffed with artificial additives and petroleum-based dyes. Haya took the opposite approach: 0 sugar, 0 gummy junk, just clean nutrition. And the crazy thing, kids actually love them. The taste, the experience, all of it. I know our kids do. It's a superpowered chewable vitamin that packs 12 organic fruits and vegetables plus 15 essential vitamins and minerals into every dose. We're talking vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, all of the foundational nutrients that support immune health, energy levels, brain function, mood regulation, concentration, and the development of strong teeth and bones. And here's something every parent needs to hear. If getting your kids to eat vegetables feels like an impossible daily battle, Haya's new Kids Daily Greens plus Superfoods is a total game changer. It's basically chocolate milk stuffed with veggies. It's a greens powder that's packed with 55 plus whole food source ingredients. Just mix 1 scoop with milk or any non-dairy beverage and watch them actually enjoy something that's secretly fueling their growing bodies. And of course, we've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/skinny. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/skinny and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults.
The new year means a clean slate. Time to transform frustration into fuel and power your day with IQ Bar. Okay, so the Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, you get 8 IQ Mix sticks, and you get 4 IQ Joe sticks. So all of their products are clean label certified. They're entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. You should also know that they're packed with clean, delicious ingredients like magnesium, lion's mane, and more. So if you're looking for a plant protein bar in your bag, this is a great choice. What I like about this bar in particular is, yes, there's plant protein, but there's also tons of fiber and no added sugar. So they don't add sugar to this, which is great. They also have this thing called the IQ Mix. It's a 0 sugar drink mix, and it hydrates with electrolytes and improves mood and boost clarity. I am a big electrolyte before coffee girl. Have to have it. And then they have IQ Joe, a mushroom coffee designed for mental clarity, and it's packed with 200 milligrams of natural caffeine. It also comes in 4 different flavors, and they're truly all delicious. I tried the IQ Joe mushroom coffee, and I did it before a podcast, and I could not believe the mental clarity that I got. It was really nice, and there wasn't like a come down from coffee. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text SKINNY to 64,000. Text SKINNY to 64,000. That's SKINNY to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Introducing the Skinny Confidential Ice Roller, reimagined. Think sleeker lines, a softer pink, a custom buttery dust bag, and a silver roller, not pink anymore, that is ice cold. I wanted to do a zhuzh on the iconic ice roller. I wanted to update it. This ice roller for me has always been more than just a tool. It's about helping us depuff and sculpt and calm the skin in a way that feels intentional. And I wanted the ice roller to feel evolved. It's changed. You've changed. So yes, the new gorgeous, stunning, beautiful ice roller is still going to do the same things. It reduces puffiness and redness in your face. I used it this morning before I put on my makeup. It definitely helps with the under eye bags. Of course, it helps boost circulation and radiance. I just feel like it really helps stimulate blood flow and gives me that tighter, more radiant skin. And then it also is known to give you a smoother, tighter looking skin. So what I like to do is I like to combine facial massage with cold therapy. And this really helps give you a really nice foundation before you even apply your skincare. This ice roller for me is a full circle moment. I think that a lot of you bought the ice roller 5-6 years ago when we launched it. And now I am launching something that feels more in alignment with where you're at. It's so beautiful, you guys. Like, it's just softer and more effortless in every way. And I really put my own touches on every single little step, from the packaging to the colors to how it feels to even the roller. It's all been elevated just for you. So the Lauren ritual is you do cold therapy to help fight inflammation. You roll it, you glide it across your face. I put it on my jawline, my neck, I roll it down. Your skin is just going to appear smoother and tighter before you go in for the kill with the skincare and the makeup. Don't skip the cold therapy. The new ice roller is an upgrade designed to meet the standards of today, and I hope you guys love it as much as I do. This is the beauty tool that started it all, redesigned to evolve with you. I'm showing it on YouTube too, if you're on YouTube, if you're seeing me visually. Get it while it's hot at shopskinnyconfidential.com. That's shopskinnyconfidential.com. You're a creatine fan, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, so you recommend creatine. What else?
I recommend creatine. I think omega-3 fatty acids are really important. Omega-3s for the brain. And then also urolithin A. I don't know if you've tried urolithin A.
Yeah, what's the company?
Timeline?
What's the timeline? Yeah, I like that stuff.
What's so
I
good
need to
about
get some
that?
more of that stuff. I was taking that for a while.
I like Fatty 15. Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of it.
We like it. I mean, that stuff is like omega-3s on steroids. It's just one ingredient. Just C15.
Amazing. I'll have to look more into it.
I'm going to get that
we've
timeline.
We've had Dr. Watson on this, Ben Watson on this podcast twice. She's interesting.
It's found in dolphins, right?
No, she discovered it working with the U.S. Navy and dolphins. I didn't realize the U.S. Navy has like a dolphin department.
I didn't either. And they've got a lot of departments.
Yeah, but I guess they were like, anyways, that's a whole other podcast. We've done it, but you should
What
try that
other
stuff.
supplements?
Well, you were talking about, we were talking about how whole foods, really everything should be able to come from whole foods. That creatine is one thing where it'd be very difficult to get enough creatine. So let's say in 1 pound of meat, there might be half a gram of creatine.
So
No one is
critical.
getting 5 grams of creatine, 3 to 5 grams for muscle, 10 to 12 for brain health. It's very difficult
You
to
think
eat that much.
I'm at 5. You think go up?
Yeah. For
You
brain
would tell
health,
me to go up.
yes, I would.
If I sleep poorly, I will do like 10 to 15 in the morning because just to fix the brain.
And there's also some data to compensate for that low sleep.
Is this overwhelming for you?
Oh, you're overwhelming.
Why?
Because he tells me his fucking sleep score every single morning, and we have to go over the data and da 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 da, and it's just like he probably does 10 scoops every day because he.
No, because I think sometimes people like they rely too much on like intuition, and intuition's one thing. But if you have, we had Glucose Goddess on the podcast yesterday.
I love Jessie.
Yeah, and she's great, and I might have to get one of these monitors because I was like, oh, that sounds interesting.
If you do the monitor, that's divorce.
I like the data because I can figure out.
I
I'm
don't.
like, oh,
I
haven't been
promise you, if he does that monitor, I'm saying this on air, I will be single on Bumble
Bumble.
Tinder?
or one of
Tinder?
them. I don't know. I'll be like ready to go. I can't do that.
I might have to. The data. You might have to be single then. I need the data.
No. I can't with the
We had a good run. You know, it's like
You guys are unbelievable.
Go
It's so
back
funny.
to your supplements.
Creatine for brain is great. It's going to be very difficult to eat that. Essential amino acids, critical. We're not eating that much food. Also, especially with the use of GLP-1s, protein is the most important macronutrient. Urolithin A, MitoPure, 1,000 milligrams a day. You're going to start to see its impact on not just muscle, but also, I believe, brain and joints, all immune function, all kinds of things. Vitamin D, that's hit or miss. People feel one way or the other, but we recommend it. Omega-3 fatty acids. One that I'm obsessed with, which I am using every day, is beta-hydroxybutyrate, ketone. Obsessed with it for brain function and memory.
Ketone, the little shots?
I don't use the little shots. I use, it's a packet, it's called Let's Go. It's some really cute packets, like a liposomal. Beta-hydroxybutyrate.
Just to
And
put
I
you
have
into
no
ketosis
relation. Yeah.
quickly?
And
Yeah.
well, I don't measure ketones, but I use it for brain function.
okay.
And
try that one.
yeah, I have no relationship to this company, but I love the owner. Her name is Bonnie, and I'm obsessed with this product.
I like the little
Obsessed.
shots of ketones, but I got to try this too.
But this actually tastes, I mean, you can take it and
It tastes good.
it tastes okay. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I learned a lot.
Covered a lot of ground.
Yes.
Okay, so what can people expect? And we've covered a little bit, but what could people expect in the new book?
This playbook, it's a tactical field manual. It has workout, it has mindset, it has recipes.
Oh.
By the way, the berry crumble,
What page is that on?
it's so good.
I'm gonna
I wish
find
I could
it.
tell
I'm
you.
gonna find it.
The egg in a hole is my favorite. I mean,
That's right.
we've done all of these recipes. It also has recovery tools. Talks about the Green Beret tactical nap, how to nap if you haven't had a lot of sleep, what to do, you pre-caffeinate, all of this. It's great. And I've leaned on some of the experts who I really trust, and we created the tactical field manual.
I like how you broke it out: how to think, how to eat,
Yeah.
how to move, how to recover, and then the human advantage.
Beautiful book. Congratulations. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, the Forever Strong Playbook, available on Amazon. Where can everyone find you to ask you questions about raw dogging? kidding.
I would make a joke and give you my husband's phone number, but I'm not going to do that.
And your husband is a former SEAL, right?
He's a former Navy SEAL.
Yeah, so
Mess
be
around.
careful, guys. Don't be sending weird messages
She's
in the DMs.
taken.
This guy
Yeah.
will find you.
And now
he will run through a monsoon to get you.
And now he is a third-year surgical resident, which is pretty
Good for him. That's
tremendous.
intense. Yeah, wow.
He's tremendous. Still can't find his socks, so go figure.
Oh, the Where's My? I'm going to do a skit on Where's My.
That's every guy.
When I hear
love that.
Where's My, every single woman on the planet can relate. He'll be like, I swear to God, this was the one lately.
That's because you guys
Where's
move our stuff.
my trousers with the hole in the knee? I'm like,
No.
forgive me, I have a lot of other things going on than worrying about your trousers with
No.
the hole in the knee.
Marriage counseling real quick. I ripped the back of my pants the other day because I got in the car with my phone and my phone was in my pocket and ripped my pants.
Okay.
So I took the pants and I put them on the stairs to my office.
Wrong place to put them.
Because I was going to then the next day see them and take them to the tailor.
I can't do it.
And
no, I can't do it either.
No, I don't want it on the stairs. That's not where they go.
But she
put it where they go.
Moved the pants
away.
And then I asked her where they are, and she said they're at the tailor. So I said, great. This is such a dumb story. And then I said, okay. A few days went by. I said, where's the pants? And she says, I don't know. And I said, you told me you took it. And then so I was asking her.
The point of the story is don't put your pants on the stairs.
The point of the story, she's mad because she moved something. I asked where they were because I didn't move them. And then she got mad that I asked where she put them.
A place for everything and everything in its place.
Because you did not remember moving them because you're OCD and
a little
crazy.
Bit. Well,
I'm OCD in my house. I mean, everything has a place and everything should be labeled where it goes. Let me share where to find me. And I also want to express the importance of this book.
She's like, can we get off your pants for a second?
No, I love the pants story and I can relate. My husband can navigate Afghanistan, but he can't find his socks. Okay? I don't buy it.
Honestly, it'd probably easier to navigate in Afghanistan than find those fucking pants the other day.
Okay, one more story. He will call me when I'm traveling for this kind of stuff and be like, when are you coming home? Oh my gosh, this is harder than deployment because of our 2 kids, 4 and 6. I'm like, honey, you got this. Okay, all kidding aside, Americans are going to become healthier. And this is the moment. The new dietary guideline changes are already in this playbook. It will teach you how to implement roughly 90% of the changes to build a healthier, better version of yourself. You know, we talk a lot about protein and nutrition, but the reality is we need to build better, stronger, more resilient humans. And we can do that.
The Forever Strong Playbook. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you so much for having me.